Morning and welcome to my Tireside chat. I made one yesterday when I was halfway to work, and then I never uploaded it. Oh well, it wasn't that great anyhow. I'm just going to summarize what I talked about yesterday, which was just that I went to the RSA conference in San Francisco last week for 2 days. I was there for 2 nights, technically. We showed up on Tuesday late afternoon and stayed at a hotel there, and it was pretty nice. And attended the conference. It's like the biggest cybersecurity conference in the world, as far as I'm aware. Maybe not the world, but it's a big one. Hey, pay attention, folks. Let's go. Green light. I made a Facebook post where I posted all my handwritten notes that I took in all the sessions that I was in while I was there. Again, pardon me for talking while I'm eating there, but I'm hungry. Some key takeaways. I attended quite a few seminars on kind of the macro view of the state of cyber warfare and espionage between, was it 5 major players? You got the United States, you got China, Russia, North Korea, Iran. And then just outside of the major countries, you have, there's criminal organizations which act a little bit differently and for different purposes. More and more what we're seeing is that some of the criminal organizations are being tied to state-run operations. The Chinese, North Koreans, Russians. I don't know about the Iranians so much, but the Chinese have 2 major campaigns or hacker groups, the Volt Typhoon and Salt Typhoon groups, which are focused on infiltrating American infrastructure and telecommunications, respectively. And I'm hitting every green light this morning. What's going on? I went to one session where there was the CEO of a company called Dragos, like the dragon, which works with public utility companies, some private organizations of the government, to assist in defending, I think mainly in defending against Volt Typhoon, Salt Typhoon, and counteract what the Chinese are doing. We've had some really interesting things to say. I took a lot of notes on that regarding the takeaway from that was that we have a lot of, which I can tell you just from like where the company I work in, and we're a subcontractor for PG&E, and just seeing some of the way that PG&E operates when it comes to cybersecurity and their IT infrastructure, just from what we see on the outside, I'm guessing, it's basically a government bureaucracy, and a lot of these public utilities are, and that's the way that they function. If you work there, it's kind of a government job, and they have a lot of key infrastructure that the public relies on, which isn't as well maintained or protected as it should be. And you have people there that are incompetent or lazy, or their hands are tied, and things just don't get fixed or updated the way that they should be. He said something like there's a lot of public infrastructure or systems that are critical, where they'll go to a utility and say, hey, you've got this, this computer that's running Windows XP from 20 years ago that is controlling, this key component of an electrical grid. susceptible to all sorts of stuff. And they'll be like, oh yeah, but it's not connected to the internet or any network or anything. And then they'll go in and look and be like, yeah, it is. It's connected to the internet and it's got SSH ports open, like it's easily accessible. And it's just a matter of time before someone hacks it. There's like a ton of that out there, which would be really low-hanging fruit for a company like that to come in and point out and fix. Or, companies with firewalls that are 20 years old and have never been updated and are collecting dust, or easily hackable. So companies like that, it sounds like, this is coming from the perspective of their CEO, of course, to take that with a grain of salt. They're doing some really good work. It sounds like it may just be a drop in the ocean, though, and at the same time, the Chinese, who are now quasi-capitalists, but also somewhat authoritarian, don't really have the same, I don't think they have the same problems with bureaucracy that we do here. Maybe they do, but it's a different flavor. Also, there was something to be said about the fact that the Chinese have been attempting to get into the plant seeds in our infrastructure and telecommunication systems, but they aren't attempting to do any damage yet. As long as the relations and our trade relations between the two countries are okay, the only outside actors that have attempted to do damage to infrastructure would be like the North Koreans and criminal groups. The Iranians are, I believe, mostly focused on Israel, of course, and the Russians right now are mostly focused on Ukraine, which has been a huge training ground for Russian hackers. And if that war ever ends, then they can turn their attention elsewhere. Another point was made that the Israelis see Iran as being very weakened right now. Meaning that Hezbollah and the Yemenis fighters are all at a low point, which are, Iranian backed. Oh, what? I had a red light. Not fair. And this is going to be a quick video. I'm making it here in no time. I know you're just getting a shot of my steering wheel. I should mount this like up here, right? I need a window mount for my phone. That would be better. I need to order one. I'm going to get off this video and order one. So anyways, that was good. I could talk more about that, but it was interesting to get those perspectives. I did attend a couple sessions on more technical things about securing corporate networks and current issues that we're dealing with, and reviewing cybersecurity issues over the past year. One key point around that was the fact that it's always been the mindset that you need to secure your workstations, your computer itself. This applies to businesses and people at home with like antivirus software, but more and more now, as the workstation or your computer was the end point. But more so now, the thing is that, yeah, your computer needs to be secured, but your browser, your web browser, is kind of the new endpoint, because the way that protocols work and the way that apps are working these days, the browser kind of sits on top of your computer in a separate layer, and and your desktop antivirus might not necessarily protect against things that are going on in your browser. And also your browser separately has credentials, tokens, login information that are separate from what is in your desktop. And so if your browser gets hijacked, you've got saved passwords in there, depending on how you're doing that, and open running sessions. If your browser gets hijacked by an extension that's corrupted or a bad website that you go to, that means that hackers or a malicious tool will have access to everything that you have access to. Anyways, well, I'm almost to work now. Look what I brought today. I just remembered I was walking out to my garage and I saw my skateboard lying there, and I thought, oh, yeah, sometimes I thought about taking my skateboard to work, and on my lunch break, there's a skate park that's like right over here on Villa in Clovis. That'd be fun. I could go skateboarding, and and then I think I probably shouldn't be doing that. I don't want to go to the hospital on my lunch break. Although, I'm still really confident in my abilities to use the skateboard. But also, there's a batting cage. I don't remember if it was in the same spot or if that was separate. I gotta look it up. But there's a batting cage nearby. I thought that'd be fun. I could go do that on my lunch break, as long as it's not too hot outside. And it's starting to warm up this week. I don't know what it's supposed to be today, but I think by Friday it's supposed to be 95 again. So, not looking forward to that. Okay, I'm at work. Ta-ta for now. Happy Tuesday.